Good morning. Today we're going to talk a little bit about some classroom.
Could you speak up a little?
I'm trying to
Please?
speak as loud as I can.
Just a little.
Today we're going to speak about some possible classroom language that you might encounter as you teach. Just some different things that students might say when you're talking about tests. These are some phrases you might not be familiar with about things that students might ask you questions about. For instance, there's partial credit, and partial credit simply means if there, maybe, for instance, there's a problem that's worth 10 points, and they want to know if they can get maybe just some of those points if they get a question partway right. Like with the math problem, if they've done the right kinds of calculations, but they just maybe copied a number down wrong, or with an essay, if they've gotten most of the question right, they might want partial credit, and that's what that means. Yes.
Do departments have policies that we must follow for these rules?
Yes, I think that's exactly right. And the second one is open book test. They might ask if they can have an open book test, and that means that in the test they get to open up their textbook and look for answers that they want while they're taking the test. Also, they might ask about a makeup exam. A makeup exam is if for some reason they missed the test, the first test, and they want to take it at some other later time. That's what they mean by a makeup test. Finally, a review session, sometimes when there's a test coming up, they'll ask if they can have a review session, and that means they want to go over material that might be on the test. And finally, then, there is also extra credit they might ask you about. An extra credit, they will be asking you for something like, are there problems that aren't counted as part of the test, but if you get them right, it's added to your score at the end. So, yes.
Would you explain more specifically for review session?
Yeah, review sessions, that's right. That's right, a review session, they study things that are on the test, or that might be on the test. And so then, so these are the five possible things that you might have to deal with, or you might hear in the classroom as a teacher. We're going to do some work with this later on, trying to work this vocabulary in, maybe in some role plays next class, but for today, that's it.
Okay, one other thing I wanted to talk about today was the affective domain. Really, it's the opposite of another domain, and can you guess what that is?
Relation? Is relation?
I think a better word is cognitive. Okay, that's the cognitive domain, but like I said, I want to talk about the affective domain. So think about your second language learning experience. What was that like?
Scary.
Scary. Yeah.
I was nervous often.
Uh-huh.
I feel
Well-
anxious to speak up in my second language.
Okay. Being anxious, being scary and nervous, those things fall into the affective domain. Now, can you think of other things that would fall into the affective domain? I guess, well, let me say this. In a general way, we talk about personality factors or personality traits, like being impatient. You know, sometimes when you're riding your bike and you wish people would get out of your way, you get really impatient and really mad and you just want people to move, you know? That's like personality traits. And so, I mean, that's affective domain too.
What if I talk too loud?
What if you talk too loud?
Is that effective?
Is it effective?
Affective.
Well, affective. I guess so. What do you guys think?
I'm not sure.
I'll just take a wild guess.
Well, actually, maybe if I'm speaking too loud, maybe that has an affective effect on other people.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, the point is just that there's a lot of research in this area for second language acquisition. Let me see. So just to sum up for affective domain, what can you say describes this domain versus this domain? They're both technical terms, right? Both technical terms. This one describes emotions, and this one describes what?
Mental.
Good, mental. Okay, so that was just a brief introduction to these two technical terms. Are there any questions? Okay, I guess that's it for today then. We'll talk more about this next time. Thanks.